How do we breathe? It seems silly to ask the question, but it is one that is of vital importance if we're going to learn how to meditate properly. In fact, it's something that we have lost in this modern age, is how to breathe. Everything has become so quick that a lot of our breathing has become shallow, very quick, and doesn't feed the body, the mind, or the spirit appropriately. So what we're going to do in this video is we're going to go over some of the basics of breathing and breath anatomy. These are just a few quick tips to kind of help you get re-engaged and reattuned to the breath, because it is of vital importance for your meditation practice. In fact, it is everything in the practice. If we can't get the breath right, then we're not going to be able to access the states of being that we're hoping to access when we're sitting down for our practice. Basically, what we need to do here is we need to relearn how to breathe. Here in the West, in particular, we struggle with this mightily. A lot of it is just how we hold our bodies, how we engage with our bodies, how we understand what is our relationship with our body. Now, men in particular, we tend to puff out our chests and we strain this way, and that restricts some of the breathing here in the lower ribs, these flexing ribs, which it doesn't allow us a full breath. And men and women alike both hold in our guts so much that we don't allow the abdomen to be a part of the process. In fact, a full breath starts not only in the nose and through the throat, but continues all the way down into our pelvis. Now, this is something that we don't think about, but the body wants to do it properly. However, most of the time we get in the way. So what we need to do is relearn how this process works, from the nose all the way down to the pelvis. So in a breath, do we want to breathe with the nose or the mouth in meditation? Is a question that is very common. I prefer the nose for this style of meditation that we'll be learning, and most meditation styles that are seated practice. There's a great deal of popularity around breath work, where you're breathing through the mouth, and that is an incredible practice, but it is not the meditation that we're talking about here in this introductory course. So it starts with the nose. And the reason for that is it allows to kind of a more pure channel for breath. Now, the mouth is a bigger opening, but it's not going to give us, it's going to charge us too much. Not like as in charging us money, but as in charging us with life force or air, if you will. Just too much breathing will hype the body up instead of relax the body. So in this case, what we're looking for is kind of like an ujjayi breath or a yogic breath that is traditionally through the nose. So it starts here with the nose, and I just kind of wanted to go over some of those basics, why we're not doing a breath through the mouth in this meditation. So it starts in the nose. And now that we've known how our posture is supposed to be, the tongue is depressed against the front two teeth, allowing for a more open channel in the throat for the air to be accessed in the lungs. Now, from there, the air comes down into the lungs and the top part of the lungs. And this is generally where it stops for most people. In fact, most of the time, we're only filling up about a third of our lung capacity at any given time, which leads to weak lungs, which leads to problems and chronic issues because we're not fully oxygenating the bloodstream. So what we want to do is start to open up that channel by breathing more deeply and allowing our breath some places to go. The reason that we only fill up this top third is because we're holding everything in by flexing our abs all the time, trying to tell everybody we don't have a belly. For the purposes of meditation, you're doing it by yourself, so please don't worry about what your belly looks like, or if it's extending, or if you've got a couple extra pounds there. It's not a big deal. We want to release that area of our body as much as possible. And I'll go ahead and do it first. Luckily, I'm wearing a white shirt, so you can't tell too much how much I've been packing on here. But in a full breath, we want to fully expand the abdomen as much as possible. The reason for this is if we cut it off, then the lungs don't have anywhere to expand into. If we have our diaphragm pulled up tight against our lungs, then they don't get the proper airflow. We don't get to fill them with as much air. So what we want to do is allow them to fill by dropping the diaphragm into the abdomen, allowing the abdomen to expand so that we can get a full breath all the way down to the bottom of our lungs. This oxygenates the blood. It provides for a relaxation that is incredible. And if you start to practice it, just like I've said here, the exhale has a lot to do with it too, but I'm more focused on the inhale at this point. We draw in through the nose, allow the throat to open, and allow the abdomen to fully expand. Now the final component here is in the pelvis. In fact, there's a little part right in the back, in the sacrum here, where our spine should flex forward. See, the muscles are attached here in the abdomen to the spine, and when we fully flex the abdomen, we should feel a slight movement in that lower vertebrae. It should feel just kind of like a little curve, just a little slight tug there, and that's natural. And if we maintain too erect of a position in the back, we don't allow that to flow properly with the breath. So altogether, we're opening up through the nose, through the throat, allowing the abdomen to expand and allowing that pelvis bone to come forward a little. That vertebrae, right like this. What we get there is we get a full breath, something that we don't do most of the time. And what is this going to do for us? One, we're going to oxygenate the blood, which is going to help us with that medical approach to Reiki, meditation. Oh boy, here we go. Because Reiki is so much a part of my meditation practice, I tend to mix them all into one. The medical approach and the martial approach is going to be the same thing, and the spiritual approach. It allows us to access different states of being through the body. So that's why the breath is so vital and so important. Beyond that, the exhale. The exhale is vitally important to this process as well. Why? The exhale is the trigger, if you will, for most of the autonomic nervous system. So one trick and tip that I'll give you in this introductory course is that whatever your inhale is, if you time it, so this is like a practice you do as you're starting to warm up. Figure out where your breath is at today. Figure out where your body's at. See how much of an inhale you can get. Is it 4 seconds? Is it 8 seconds? Most people are going to be around 3 to 4. And depending upon how much breath work you've done in recent months or weeks, even days, you can get up to 8, sometimes more than that. Time it. See where you're at. What's your inhale at? Now I want you to, on your exhale, double that. So time it backwards and double it, right? What we're doing here is we're allowing the body to relax. The exhale is the way that we do this. And the exhale will trigger the vagus nerve and the autonomic nervous system to start producing hormones that allow us to relax. It stops the cortisol from coming in and the stressors from happening in our body. Why is this important? Without this, we're not going to get to the points in metacognition that we've talked about previously. We're not going to be able to analyze the thoughts. We're not going to be able to process the thoughts. And we're not going to be able to get to the space that provides us the most peace and tranquility in our meditation practice. And even though we've talked before that there is no goal, that is kind of where we're wanting to get at a first level of meditation. That's where we want to be, is in that place of peace and surrender, where we can take that with us the rest of the day and help us in our bodies, in our mental performance, and in our connection to self. If we don't have the breath mapped properly, then we're going to struggle mightily. Now, I've attached more resources here at the end of this lecture to help you dial into what your breath is, including a couple of quick exercises. And I'll see you in the next clip.